What's going on, traders? It's Johnny here, Trader X. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. I hope you guys are all having a lovely Friday today. And what I wanted to discuss in today's video was the NASDAQ. So as you guys can see, since right around market open at 6:30, the NASDAQ started to aggressively sell off, forming these lower highs and lower lows, and it was consistently getting rejected by the EMA line. And if we compare the NASDAQ from where it closed at yesterday to lows of today, it was actually down about 3.5 to 4%. And as you guys can see, it was able to find a form of support right around this area and recover back up to middle VWAP. So from where it's currently trading at now, the NASDAQ is only down 0.34%, right, compared to where it closed at yesterday. So definitely had a nice little run to end the day. It could have gone a lot worse if this thing was aggressively selling off all day. But the fact that we had this nice little recovery was a bit of a nice surprise, right? And so as you guys can see, today I was actually not actively day trading. I had an open position on Tesla of 2 shares, and I wanted to go over today my thought process behind why I decided to actually buy Tesla today and my plans for the future. So if we take a step back on the NASDAQ and look at it at the past 6 months, what you'll notice is since the start of April, the NASDAQ has been consistently selling off, right? It's been trading in between this channel here where it's, forms these peaks right around these resistance levels and then bounces right around these support levels. And yeah, so as you guys can see, it'll kind of like ping pong all over the place. And so a lot of you may be wondering, since Tesla is heavily influenced by the NASDAQ, why did I decide to buy 2 shares of Tesla today if direction is clearly not in my favor, right? And so I wanted to go over my plan with you guys on my Tesla position. So as you guys can see, when the NASDAQ sells off, it influences a lot of the top tech companies, right? So stuff like Tesla, you'll see, has been dying, stuff like Apple, Facebook. These are all big reputable companies that have been selling off lately due to the negative catalysts that the Nasdaq that has been driving the price of the Nasdaq down, right? So ultimately, since the start of April, we've been hearing lots of negative news regarding a recession and inflation rates and the war in Ukraine, right? So it's been driving the price of the Nasdaq down, and been bringing a lot of these top tech stocks down with it. And so my thought process behind Tesla was I wanted to get into Tesla when I thought the Nasdaq was a bit more of an oversold territory, right? And so if we take a look at a bigger time frame on the Nasdaq, what you'll notice is that this thing has actively traded above the SMA line and continue to make higher highs, right? So um, for all of you wondering why I'm deciding to look at the past 20 years, the reason for that is I plan on investing my money in Tesla, right? I'm not going to try actively day trading it like I do when I buy in and out of a stock within the same day, right? With my investments, I'm going to hold these more long term, and I'm okay if these things don't recover right away, right? And so what I wanted to do was I was waiting for the Nasdaq to approach closer to the 11,000 mark, right? So that it was more of an oversold area. As we can see, the Nasdaq typically tends to correct itself back to the SMA line after these nice bullish runs. So it did it here where it was having a nice bullish run before it became overextended and pulled back. And then it went on a nice little run, right? Before it ultimately pulled back, corrected itself, and went on one of the biggest bullish runs that we've seen in a long, long time, right? Maybe ever for the Nasdaq. So this thing absolutely killed it since the start of what is this, March 2020. And so the market was very, very overextended. And that's partially the reason why I have not personally been holding anything long term lately, and it's because I was anticipating this form of pullback on the Nasdaq, right? Does it mean that it has to bounce here? Of course not, right? This thing can continue to sell off, but based off previous patterns and how the Nasdaq has tended to perform, it typically finds a support right around the SMA line. So I'm gonna do my part in getting in at these good deals and starting to buy more of Tesla or whichever big tech company you want to invest in, right? With the Nasdaq recovering, once it starts to indicate signs of an uptrend. So what do I mean by that exactly? So as you guys can see with the past 6 months, right? Nasdaq has been consistently selling off here, right? Since well, what did I say? This was since the start of April, right? Consistently selling off, making these lower highs, lower lows. So it would not be in my best interest right now to get in with my full position size on Tesla or even a heavy position size. Why would I throw all my money into something that is losing value right now, right? It's not indicating any signs of an uptrend. It wouldn't make any sense. So that's why I decided to buy only 2 shares of Tesla today, and I intend to buy a lot more in the future, right? But in order for that to happen, what needs to happen is the Nasdaq needs to start indicating to me that it's no longer selling off, right? It needs to do what it's done in the past, where, if we take a look at it at a bigger time frame, what it does here, where it rides the EMA line up, right? It starts to make these higher highs and higher lows. Right now, it's doing the exact opposite. It's making lower highs, lower lows. So it would not be in my best interest to get in super heavy right now, because like I said, just because something happened in the past doesn't mean it has to continue to happen, right? So if I were to get in fully right here and this thing continue to tank, it would put me in a very, very bad spot, right? And I would start to get really emotional. But with only having 2 shares in right now, this thing can continue to sell off and I'll be perfectly okay with it, right? It's the risk that I'm willing to take. And so Tesla, as you guys can see, I was able to get for an average price at around 663 today. So my plan moving forward is I am going to have to set a stop loss somewhere, right? I'm not going to just be naive and think that, oh, what's happened in the past has to happen again, right? Because if this thing continues to tank and I just hold on to my shares, I'm just, being a little naive at that point, right? That it will recover. Nothing has to happen, like I mentioned, guys. So with that being said, if Tesla were to hit close to the $500 range, that's where I would consider cutting losses on these 2 shares. But until then, I'm not going to be adding any more money into Tesla until it starts to indicate signs of an uptrend, right? When the Nasdaq itself starts to indicate signs that it is going to start uptrending and riding the EMA line up, that is when I would feel comfortable adding and getting into more heavy position in my open Tesla shares, right? So I have 2 shares right now. I probably plan to buy 10 to 20 shares more, right? 30, 40. There is no cap on how much I may potentially want to buy as long as the direction is there, right? So, like I was telling you guys earlier, I don't want to just buy in 30, 40 shares of Tesla now. It just, direction is not in my favor, right? And I need to be real with myself. I can hope that this thing shoots to, the moon, and that would be awesome. But like I said, it's being very naive given the fact of how it's been trading. So that is ultimately what I wanted to make you guys aware of. It's, if you guys are deciding to buy in stocks now, it's an absolutely amazing time, right? Lots of these big reputable companies like Apple, Facebook, Tesla, they are all trading for like 50% discount right now. So for any of you guys who like to go Black Friday shopping, I'm sure you guys like to load up on stuff because you're getting it for a good deal. This is no different, right? So with the overall Nasdaq pulling back and all these negative catalysts occurring, it's been making these big reputable companies cheaper, a lot cheaper, especially if you're in light now or you're not even in. Right now would be a good time to start maybe thinking about, okay, maybe I should start to pick up some shares with a dollar size that I feel comfortable with, right? Where if this thing were to continue to pull back, I can cut my losses and be okay with the loss that I take, right? What I don't want is for you guys to put yourself in a bad spot and end up, blowing your account up. So in my opinion, it would be, smart to get in light right now, or maybe not even get in until it's actually indicating signs of an uptrend. And that's ultimately what I plan to do with my Tesla position moving forward. So I did hope you guys learned something from today's video and, took something away from that. But yeah, that's ultimately my breakdown with the NASDAQ today. So yeah, as you guys can see, it was practically a break-even day, right? I was up $1.29. And so I will update you guys on Monday with how the position is going, and I will be actively trading on Monday. So yeah, I will see you guys then, and I hope you guys all enjoy your weekend. Take care and have a good rest of your day.